In the past 2 years, over 36,000 jobs have been cut across entertainment and media. Productions in the U.S. dropped 35% from its peak. Georgia, which at one point was deemed the new Hollywood, saw a 41% drop in film activity. Technicolor, the company that colored The Wizard of Oz, collapsed in early 2025. Thousands lost their jobs overnight. You might think you know why. AI is coming for Hollywood. Robots will rule the world. Machines are replacing us. Wrong.
Wrong.
Or at least not quite yet. And what's going on is far less dramatic, but far more terrifying than anyone is willing to admit. Now, what you might assume from that is Hollywood is unprepared for AI. They don't see it coming, and they will get blindsided. But nope, not really what I mean. Hollywood, the studio system, executives, that machine is very ready. Silently, they have been preparing, while we have all been distracted. Those not ready are the writers, artists, actors, and the crew behind the camera. They are the ones who have no idea what is coming, or at least they aren't as worried as they should be. Let's start with some facts and try to get the idea of what is happening and why. We will ground this in reality, then go deeper into patterns in the timing. Is this just coincidence or something more sinister? Most people have the causation wrong. AI did not cause the current Hollywood crisis. I will stress that point. AI is not why 25,000 people lost their jobs. First thing we can look at is the streaming bubble burst. If we look back at 2019, 2020, and 2021, every company with major pull was launching into streaming.
Tonight, enter a new player from our parent company. It's called Disney Plus.
Rebranded streaming service, Paramount Plus.
Now to that shift in the world of streaming.
Apple TV Plus.
There's a new player in the streaming game, and it's HBO Max.
Disney Plus, HBO Max, Peacock, Paramount Plus, Apple TV Plus. Money was being spent like a housewife with Amazon Prime. Disney was spending $33 billion a year. And Netflix hit $17 billion on content. Amazon made a bad Lord of the Rings show, although I am hesitant to even call it Lord of the Rings, that cost $1 billion for one season, and it flopped. This was the streaming war, and the goal? Subscriber growth at any cost. Spend all the money it takes, make as much content as possible, and win the war. Then, 2022, Q1 came. Netflix lost subscribers for the first time in a decade. Then, the stock crashed 67%. Netflix was still profitable, but the others, they were losing billions trying to chase Netflix.
Why are you running? Why are you running? Yeah? You owe me money. You have to give me back my money.
Netflix subscriber loss indicated a ceiling had been hit. Wall Street pivoted immediately, almost overnight. They used to want sub-count growth, but now they want profitability. All of a sudden, the company's bleeding money had to stop spending. UBS's John Hudulik said this, quote, "Netflix is no longer being valued at a revenue multiple. Investors are asking how direct-to-consumer gets to profitability." Disney went from spending $33 billion on content to $23 billion. That $10 billion cut put them back to 2018 level before Disney Plus was even a thing. The bubble popped, and so did those bubble jobs. The second thing to observe is the 2023 strike. From May to November 2023, Hollywood shut down. Writers went on strike, and then actors followed.
We will not be having our jobs taken away and giving to robots. We will not allow you to take away our dignity.
Nothing was made, 6 months of nothing. But here's the thing, film production has a pipeline. Projects take months, years to develop. A shutdown of 6 months delays future project by who knows how long. Now, something entertainment lawyers were whispering in the shadows was, quote, "The studios and streamers will find it to their advantage to use this strike to get out of those deals," said Jonathan Handel, an entertainment lawyer. Studios did not just accept the strike, they wanted it. It was covered to cancel projects, in contracts, and restructure the business while playing the blame game on the unions. We will get to that more later. The next point is corporate consolidation and debt. Warner Bros. Discovery is carrying a $50 million debt from their merger, and Disney spent or is in debt for the $71 billion Fox acquisition. So they were cutting. Disney laid off 7,000 people, Warner Bros. Cut thousands, Paramount, NBC, Amazon, MGM, Lionsgate, even Netflix. They were all slashing headcounts. Another collapse was linear TV. Cable subs are dropping 5 to 6% every year without failure, although that isn't new. Now, productions are leaving the US. A recent survey of studio executives ranked 5 international locations ahead of any US location for filming. That was in 2025. California, the once mecca of film, now ranks 6th globally. The Hollywood ranks 6th. 71% of projects that failed to get California tax credits moved out of the state. I think everyone is basically leaving California. I mean, why would you stay? The charm? So where does AI fit in all of this? Well, the industry is struggling, but AI is not the driving force. Let me be clear. That does not mean AI is not a threat. While AI did not cause the downturn, AI might very well ensure the jobs never come back. Let's run down where AI is actually being used in Hollywood, not the headlines, but reality. One area AI displacement is documented and undeniable is concept art. Concept artists are already being replaced. Why pay a human when Midjourney does it faster and in full? You can create iteration after iteration with prompts and clicks. This is real and it is happening right now. The next area the robots are taking over, virtual effects. In November of 2023, Jeffrey Katzenberg, who if you didn't know, was the man who co-founded DreamWorks and greenlit Shrek, Shrek 2, and How to Train Your Dragon. He said the quiet part out loud during the Bloomberg New Economy Forum. He said, quote, "In the good old days, it took 500 artists 5 years to make a world-class animated movie. I don't think it will take 10% of that, literally. I don't think it will take 10% of that 3 years from now." 3 months later, and this is directly correlated, Tyler Perry said this himself. Tyler Perry saw OpenAI Sora demo and immediately put his $800 million studio expansion on hold. That is 12 new sound stages gone because he realized he might not need them.
Look, this thing you doing right here, that's gonna cause a problem. You need to fix that, because if we're gonna be friends, we're gonna be cool, you gotta fix that. And if you don't, we're gonna have an issue.
This is not speculation. In 2024, a study done by the Animation Guild surveyed 300 entertainment executives. 75% of them reported that AI had already contributed to job eliminations. The same study projected that 118,000 film, television, and animation jobs would be disrupted by 2026. At the same time, the Art Directors Guild suspended its training program. They even sent an email to applicants saying they couldn't in good conscience encourage anyone to pursue the profession. That email cited 75% unemployment among their 3,000 members. Now, the Guild later walked that back and said the figure wasn't fact-checked, and the email was a draft, but they never actually disputed it, and they still canceled the program. Let's not forget to mention AI de-aging used in films like Here and AI voices. Voice cloning only needs 3-ish seconds now of audio to pick up on your speech pattern, accent, and tone. Now let's be clear about what is not happening right now. AI is not yet generating full CGI environments or characters. It is not replacing entire virtual effects teams. It is not writing scripts anyone actually wants to produce. And it surely is not creating feature-length films audiences want to watch. OpenAI spent months trying to get a partnership with Disney, Universal, and Warner Bros. For Sora. They have since secured a deal just recently, December 11th, 2025. They invested $1 billion into OpenAI. It's a 3-year licensing deal for 200 plus characters, including Mickey Mouse, Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar. Characters can now be used on Sora for short-form content. ChatGPT will also now be deployed for Disney employees. And the kicker, curated Sora videos will appear on Disney+. That is insane.
Freaking bricks! When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
So, the current state, AI is automating repetitive work, removing entry-level positions entirely, and accelerating existing workflows. It has not replaced the creative core yet. Very heavy emphasis on yet. Let's go back to COVID so I can paint you a picture. I'll ask you a question. When did AI become mainstream? ChatGPT launched November 2022. Midjourney went public early 2022, and DALL-E 2 came out mid-2022. The tech was being developed earlier. GPT-3, the model that made ChatGPT happen, released in June 2020, and DALL-E 1 was announced January 21. This was deep into COVID. Now think about what COVID did to the world. Before March 2020, only around 5% of workers worked remote. Digital assistants were a novelty. Feeds revolving around an algorithm were there, but it was not primary. It wasn't the main way we experienced media. And then boom, COVID time. Zoom went from 10 to 100 million daily users. Microsoft Teams went from 20 to 145 million. Digital became default. That massive amount of data we started generating, this is what researchers call digital exhaust. Every Zoom call, every Slack message, every document uploaded, every video watched, every interaction trackable. The Journal of Management Studies 2020 said this, quote, "Because the volume of digital exhaust produced in the era of COVID-19 is prodigious, organizations increasingly use algorithms that code digital exhaust into digital footprints." COVID forced the entire world to go digital. In doing so, it created the data and infrastructure pipeline that AI needed to explode. More importantly, though, COVID was psychological. Billions of people now conditioned to accept their now tech-centered lives, and as a result, accept AI. By the time ChatGPT dropped in November 2022, everyone was already living digital. They were comfortable with algorithms. We became used to machines mediating our reality. That comfort created data. AI slid in with minimal friction. No mass resistance. We've been psychologically prepped. Oh, and the streaming bubble we spoke about, also during COVID. Was this intentional? I'm not here to say. You make up your mind. I'm just pointing out patterns. Is this pattern convenient? Absolutely. The infrastructure, cloud workflow, remote work, digital pipelines in place. Data created, humans separated, digital lives formulated. AI now public. And we mentally accepted it. AI is just a tool. Everyone uses it, right? Let's listen to the executives, because they are not hiding it. They're just whispering very loudly. Ted Sarandos of Netflix said this, quote, "AI isn't replacing storytellers." But in the same breath, he said, quote, $300 to $400 million movies versus, quote, a more controlled price with AI. Translation, we can make content cheaper. David Ellison, the new owner of Paramount, said this, quote, "We view this time period as being pretty similar to some of the transitions that some of the traditional tech companies went through, such as Microsoft and Oracle, where they disrupted their own business to have all-time highs." Translation, he is calling the crisis a disruption opportunity. And think back to earlier in the video when we talked about the strikes and the cuts. Were those big distractions or disruptions a part of a bigger plan of disruption? Weird. Michael Burns, Lionsgate vice chairman, said AI can, quote, save money in many areas. It could allow, quote, movies that might not have otherwise been greenlit to be made. Translation, lower budget, fewer workers, more slop. Here's what I think is going on. The streaming bubble gave studios cover to cut spending. A bubble COVID caused. The strikes gave studios cover to cancel projects and restructure. Note David Ellison saying, disrupt their own business to have all-time highs. COVID gave the world cover to go digital and accept AI. And now AI is giving studios cover to never hire those workers back. Every crisis over the last 5 decades has been justification for cutting costs, reducing headcount, and move to digital workflows that AI learns from and will eventually automate. The studios are not victims of disruption. I believe they are the architects. What does this look like in 5 years? Well, who knows? But I can give you some good guesses. Let me paint what filmmaking might look like by 2030. Let's start with scripts. AI won't write the final, but it will write the draft, dozens in hours. Humans will become script doctors. They polish, they don't write from scratch. Entry-level writers, gone. Staff writers, gone. Junior positions disappear. A small elite of senior writers remain only to add a human touch. Netflix has all the data on what you watch, when you stop, and what makes you click. Scripts will be based on that data, optimized for engagement rather than artistry. Now on to the stars of the show, actors. A-listers become a tier of brands. Their digital likeness is now a license to be used on multiple projects at the same time. Tom Cruise doesn't have to be on a set or live for that matter. His digital twin performs. Actors could star in 20 films a year without leaving their bed. The working actors, ones without a name, simply vanish. Why pay for that? Just generate one. They have no likeness. Background actors right now are being scanned and reused. Bruce Willis already licensed his likeness in 2021 and appeared in a Russian ad without being on set. Tom Hanks said, quote, "I could be hit by a bus tomorrow, and that's it. But performances can go on and on and on, and there'll be nothing to tell you that it's not me." What about production? Well, physical sets will be rare or non-existent. LED volumes in full CGI environment is default. Cameras exist, but are just base plates. The AI enhances it. Single cameras replace entire crews. AI generates coverage, angles, and lighting. So here's the deal. I think we're heading toward two Hollywoods. Hollywood A is the content factory. AI generated everything. Volume over quality. Algorithms for scripts and optimized for engagement. No real actors and no real words. Produced for streaming, consumed, then forgotten. Hundreds of films, if you can even call it that, per year, per studio. Employs maybe 10% of the current workforce. Then Hollywood B, the prestige tier. This is labeled with human-made. Similar to organic food. Real actors, real sets, real cameras. This would be artisanal entertainment, for premium prices, of course. Oscars would become about celebrating human craft. Film festivals become the refuge of human-made work. This Hollywood B would employ a small number of elite craftspeople. The main question becomes, which Hollywood survives? And is there even room for both? For companies like ours, Redhill, the question is, which Hollywood are we building for? In this dark picture I've painted, there is in fact hope. Audiences might prefer human content. According to Deloitte's 2024 survey, 70% of US consumers say they would rather watch a TV show or movie written by a human, not AI. When people know content is AI, they absolutely take it as less emotional, less credible, and less trustworthy. But what happens when humans can't tell the difference? AI becomes so good that you don't know if what you're watching is real or fake. What happens when fake becomes our new real? Human-made could become the premium option. AI-free certification services already exist. Artists right now are getting certified to show their work is 100% human-created. Legal battles are being won. Copyright lawsuits are not over. And artists are winning. In August 2024, a federal judge allowed artists to proceed with copyright claims against Stability AI, Midjourney, and others. The court acknowledged that AI models may contain compressed copies of copyrighted works. In February 2024, Thomson Reuters won a major ruling against Ross Intelligence, the first big decision that copying copyrighted content for AI training can be infringement. Over 30 copyright lawsuits have been filed against AI companies by authors, artists, musicians, and publishers. The law is catching up slowly, but at least it's happening. Another leap has been Europe in the EU AI Act. It's the world's first comprehensive AI regulation. As of August 2025, AI companies that operate in Europe must publish summaries of training data. and comply with EU copyright law. They must clearly label AI-generated content, including deepfakes. This is forcing transparency and setting a precedent that could influence the US. To mention the strikes once more, they weren't for nothing. AI cannot write or rewrite material. It can't be used as source material, and writers can't be forced to use AI. Actors want protection for their likeness and must consent to digital replica. This all only applies to union members, and studios will have workarounds, but the precedent is somewhat set. In my opinion, it could simply be a distraction to calm people down and have us avert our attention. But hey, that's up to you. Where does all this information leave us? The doom. Hollywood is being systematically restructured under our noses to eliminate the human. AI was slid in during COVID. The strikes were used as cover. The content machine will run on the algorithm, and humans will be locked out. The hope? Audience still want us. The law is catching up. The union is fighting. One thing AI can never be is human. The truth likely is somewhere in between hope and doom. Hollywood could become a content factory, machine-driven, or it becomes a place where human stories are told by humans to humans, like it was always supposed to be. The choice is not up to the studios, it's up to us. If you care about human art, support it. Buy tickets to indie films. Demand transparency. Pay for craft. Ignore AI slop. If you're an artist, organize. Human-made is now your brand. Document it. Learn the tools. Use AI for grunt work and maintain your creativity. Create what AI can't. Personal, weird, specific, emotionally true stories. If the studios think we can be replaced, the only option, the only one, is to prove them wrong. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more like this, along with equipment review and other short film projects that we have coming up, make sure to subscribe. We have a lot in the pipeline. We'll be doing large, big creative projects. We'll be doing smaller, cool videos like this. We have a lot in the works, so make sure you keep tuned in. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss it.